Hello, how are you? Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Rothwell. I am from Epsilon. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer. It's so great to see you all. And I'm here with Carley.
Hi, I'm Carley Caldas. I'm the VP of Brand and Marketing for EOS Products.
Yeah, so Carley, tell me a little bit about your background, right? As for me, myself here at Epsilon, we really focus on data and media and how we can really find that person that's out there. When they were talking about right place, right time, it's really more about making sure we're putting the right message. So we say it's one voice, one view, one vision for our brands to make sure they're talking to the consumer in a really personal way. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your background and how you got to use?
Sure, I think there's a good tie in there. I've always worked in the beauty or personal care space, so it's a very intimate category. Sometimes you're actually working on intimate products, so I think you have to be really, really connected with your consumer. I started in Bath and Body Works, working on brand development, amazing brand, really passionate consumer. You own your own channel, you can be very close to them, learn so much. I then went on to Anthropologie to work on bath and beauty, home fragrance there. Back to Bath and Body Works, and then over to L'Oreal, biggest beauty company in the world. Worked on a global business, got a couple of different categories and marketing orgs under me. And then I came on over to EOS about 6 years ago.
Yeah, and some of the things we're going to talk about today is how EOS has really found the voice of the consumer, right? Their personal consumer, people that are super excited about their brand. So with that, I think we wanted to show a little video.
Yeah.
You've all gone feral in your comments about EOS body lotion. If you can write it, I can read it. My boyfriend wants to eat me every single time I use this lotion. Bon appetit. This lotion got me pregnant. Oh my. This lotion will get you flipped like a pancake. Well, butter me up. That EOS Vanilla Cashmere Lotion smells so good. My boyfriend could not stop kissing on me last night. Don't wear this around your man unless you're prepared to go to Pound Town. My bags are packed. Whoever made that lotion needs their ate. Ditto. Stay smooth AF out there.
So the crazy thing about listening to your consumer is you can't control what you're going to hear. But I think that's an example, a recent example of us taking our social listening and turning it into branded content. So all of those quotes were real comments that were left on videos that people had made, their own videos about us, or we were DM'd about their product experience, and we're getting flooded with all of these messages, and we're like, we couldn't say this better ourselves. We shouldn't try to. Let's just give the consumer the mic and find an interesting way that's breakthrough to make sure that these stories are getting out there.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, particularly with the consumer that you're focused on, right? The younger consumer, the very socially active consumer. There's so many brands that I work with in my business that, start to see their consumer age and want to get to the Gen Zs, the Gen Xs, and things like that. So, that's a fairly, I would say, controversial or edgy way to be talking to your customer or listening to your customer. What are some lessons or things that some of our brands should be thinking about as they really embark on that listening tour and putting things like that together out into the world?
So, I mean, we're focused. We're very, very focused on a young consumer. And so within that focus, a tenet of our brand is relevancy. And the way that I think about it is that we have, like you're building furniture and you have all the pieces and then they say don't tighten the screws. Well, for each step, wait until the end. I think of our brand that way, where we have these, pieces in a framework that exists, but we never tighten anything too much so that we can have some wiggle room, we can have fluidity to adapt. And it's a modular brand. We don't know what we're going to add on to it in the future. It's really making room and making it a habit in your practice to make sure that you can react to what's relevant to the consumer right now. Because honestly, they don't care about what we want to say. They care about what they want to say, right, and who's listening to what they want to say. So you have to find the moments to understand when are you actually authentically in a conversation that already exists. I don't think we start the conversation anymore. If you're working with a young consumer, you have to know that they're taking the lead, and then you have to be comfortable going on that ride with them.
And be comfortable with getting some of the content we just saw, right? And understanding that that's what they really see in the value. That's what their experience is with their brand, and you are now giving them the platform to amplify that.
Yeah.
So one of the things it seems that EOS is really focused on is really that representation, the representation of that consumer. So what can you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, I think it comes to life in a few different ways. There's actually like using their conversation and their voices as a starting point for our marketing initiatives. And then there's really knowing through purchasing data, like who's actually buying your brand, who's talking about you on social, and are they seeing themselves in your ads? That ad, specifically, it was funny to have like an older woman on it, but the majority of our content, like our consumers are very diverse. We know that they're very diverse. And so our content, our creator content, our brand content shows diverse faces, it shows diverse bodies, it shows, diverse representation across so many different spectrums. And it's important because we want them to know that we see them and that we appreciate them, and they can, see themselves reflected back in our brand. It's a two-way street that we're learning from them, and we want to show that appreciation.
Yeah, I think that's really great. I mean, when we got together and we knew we were going to speak together, I did some research and was seeing all the diversity, all the different just people showing up, and whether it was ethnicity or there was a whole brand, right, where people did a whole movement where they don't want their men to use your products as well. So seeing all of that was really cool. I think we have another clip we're going to show as well.
We do. I think so this is the more recent one. It goes back to listening to your consumer. So our body category is growing. If you haven't tried our body lotions, please do. It's amazing. And there's a real cult following and obsession specifically with our vanilla cashmere fragrance, and which all of those quotes were just about. And we started noticing, we're very ingrained in social, we started noticing this theme of people being like, my man keeps stealing my lotion, or I smell it on him, and it's like, don't use my products because that's my product. And they were really upset about it. You'll see a couple of examples in the video, and so we wanted to let them know that we had heard them, and their voices hadn't gone out into the void.
I don't know if this is just for women, but I seen it on TikTok, so I bought it.
Today was my man's birthday. You know what I didn't buy him? This. You wanna know why? Because he don't need to smell like this. We can't have nothing that put it back.
Ever told the men about the EOS lotion? Count your days.
We can't have nothing.
So this obviously is not a real product because it's absolutely impossible to make a lock that way. But we just wanted to let our consumers know, we saw you, we hear you. People love that. I mean, this consumer loves when you respond to them in any way on social. It's the whole early, does EOS say hi? And we're like, hi. And they're like, you actually said it. So when we made a video and we were, duetting their original videos and coming back to them with us, it just made them feel really, really excited. Also totally fine if any men want to wear our body lotion. Not against that.
Yeah, so I think that, again, that just shows everybody that you really are listening. You do have this edge out there that is a little bit different than a lot of brands that have to really follow a lot of specific rules. So when you are a little on that edge and you're trying to get some of this content by, how do you maneuver that through your organization, or people out here should think about that?
Yeah, so when I started on the brand, we couldn't get DAM approved in an asset that we were trying to make because it seemed too edgy. It was a swear word. And a couple of years later, we were launching a Bless Your Fucking Cooch campaign. So I think that you have to know that, like, if you're getting a lot of pushback in the beginning, if you can prove that things will work, like, you'll have the opportunity to, like, continue to do things that are edgy. With Bless Your Fucking Cooch, we actually, that was a case where we saw something happening, we knew we needed to react, so we were like, and it was happening, you know, within, like, the span of a half a day. So it was a, like, ask for forgiveness instead of permission. And when our leadership saw that, I mean, our shave category doubled. We were like #1 at Target before we sold out. Like, when they saw the power of actually, like, listening to your consumer, amplifying their voices, it made it much easier for us to continue to do work that I think might not get approved at a lot of other places. I mean, we did a campaign called Vaginastics about how hard it is to shave your vaginal area, and you have to basically do a gymnastics routine. We did an ad called, or a campaign called Pubes for the Planet, where we asked people to donate their pubic hair so that it could be used to, help fight soil erosion and oil in the oceans. Like, these are things that you wouldn't normally expect to get approved, but because it resonates with our consumer, and we don't just see that, like, resonance come to life online, we see it in sales, we see it in stores, we see our business growing, we see us becoming category leaders, #1 new body lotion brand. Like, these things, they prove themselves, and so we have that momentum, and everybody just gets really excited. So, I mean, we have an entire, company that now, like, regularly has, like, cooch and hoo-ha in every email, because that's what's that's what's going on, and what we know is going to make our business work. So in the beginning, it was a little hard, but once we had the business case, it's actually now incredibly easy.
But I guess it gets a little more difficult to continue to be creative, or do your customers do that for you?
I don't think it's that difficult. I think that the hard part is being comfortable enough to know that, like, sometimes the most creative stories don't come from you. We're all marketers, we're all creative, we all have great ideas. It doesn't mean that it's the right idea for your business or the right idea for your consumer. So I'm not saying all of our ideas come directly from our consumer, but in the idea bucket, like, the vast majority of them are started from a consumer place, and then we think about an interesting way that we can bring it to life. And that we do have, of course, our original ideas, but I don't know, it's a mix.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, with the brands that we work with at Epsilon, we don't see a lot of that edginess, so I think it's, again, something that consumers need to be thinking about. Brands need to be thinking about as well. So you're here in Cannes. What are some of the things you're doing with your influencer community?
Yes, we actually have a creator trip at Cannes this year, which we were really, really excited to do. Everybody's like, why are we bringing creators to Cannes? It's like a marketing conference. But when we really thought about it, so creators such an important part of our marketing strategy, but also I think just the industry at large. This is a festival of creativity, and I really think some of the most creative work is coming out of the influencer and creator space. Why shouldn't they be a part of the conversation? I know there's a creator track that, like, the festivals put into place this year, which is amazing. There's so much that we can learn from creators. They are brands within themselves. They are basically small business owners, and they're thinking very strategically about their audience, about their partnerships. So we wanted to bring them here to be a part of the conversation, to go through the different activations, to learn, but also to connect with the industry and teach some folks some things too.
And are they going to be bringing content alive out of this as well?
So I think that we're already seeing, as they were getting here, content come through, but it's not something that was part of our scope. So we didn't ask for a single piece of content. We really just wanted them to come and experience the festival, and to give and to get from everything it has to offer.
So doing this work, and the majority of the products are focused really more female oriented, right? Even though the men try to steal them every once in a while. Tell me a little bit about what this brings out with your passion with the work that you do. I know you focus on helping women, and can you tell me a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, I think what's wonderful about working at EOS, I mean, there's a lot of wonderful things, but being on a small brand is we can really impact, like, not only the work, but also the impact that the brand is making, like, philanthropically and from CSR. And so we have core focuses, and it's a small team. My team is only 6 people. Our total marketing org is less than 25. So we all come together. It's like, what's important to you? What do you think is relevant to the consumer and to the brand, and what should we really support? So besides being able to do, I think, really, really fun work, we also do a lot of really good work. We've done a ton of work on making our products sustainable, natural, and giving back to the communities. every single one of our products has shea in it. It's a huge, like our most important ingredient. And so we have a years long understanding with the Global Shea Alliance, mostly out of like the Shea Belt in West Africa, where we do a CSR program with them every year. We've built a processing facility, we've given them transportation, we've been able to really help improve the lives of the harvesters of our shea, who are, it's predominantly women. And that feels really good because we're doing things on the marketing side that are good for our brand and for our business, but then on the people side and for the world, I feel like we're able to help make a sustainable practice and business even more sustainable and help people grow their own like businesses and really support their lives in a part of the world that needs it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love hearing about that, and I think as we see the thread of the influencers and how companies are helping them make that small business and be successful, and seeing how EOS is really helping with that is really incredible. So what do you think about what's next? What is the company focused on? What are you focusing on from a customer and a marketing perspective?
So it's hard to say. We work on really, really short timelines on purpose because we want to be relevant. And like I was saying earlier, when you build enough flex into your brand for whatever could happen, in culture, you don't really, really know what's next. I know that we're going to be focusing on our body category because it's really on fire. But I think it has yet to be seen. We have obviously our plans in place, but I always like to be surprised by what might pop up that we want to take advantage of.
Yeah, so do you think your consumers will be leaning in and waiting, or is there any social media going on asking about what's next?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. No, we just launched 2 new body lotion fragrances, and that was really exciting, except they sold out in like 13 hours, which nobody wants to sell out. And so, there's a ton of excitement about the category in itself, and we have a few moments throughout the summer, and then when we get into like dry skin season in the fall and winter, where we'll make sure we give the people what they want.
Awesome. All right. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay. We're going to take any questions from the audience. Any questions? Comments?
How do you think about all of these like really fun, creative things that you're presenting? How do you think about measuring them? And like, what is your measuring currency? When you're like that fast and relevant now, like, how do you understand like the broader impact of some of that like really spunky, fun, creative work?
I'll just repeat real quick. So, curiosity about how you measure your fun and spunky and really quick action type of advertising.
It depends. It depends on the objective, and it depends on the channel that we're running it in. So there's some channels that obviously we're able to measure, and we go through any of like our regular KPIs. We focus on brand awareness, so we're really looking for like those video views, awareness, and then we run our brand lift studies. So we see like consistently across our different partners. We do not have the wallets for media mixes, but so we do like those traditional measures. Then there's also the earned, and so what I love is Blush Your Fucking Cooch, I would say, and then some of the body work that we've done this past fall. It's like you get your earned both in consumer and in trade, and so earned is obviously like in trying to be relevant with this young consumer. It's a really, really big part of it. But then we also track in a very rudimentary way, because we're a small team, like I said, we track social conversations. Like, are people actually talking about this? Like, is it something that made them laugh? Are they reposting it? Are we seeing a bunch of like duets on our different videos? A good chunk of what we do is on TikTok. So within that world, there's like your hard sort of quantitative metrics, and then there's the soft things that we just kind of, keep track of in conversation.
Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. I had a question about like your innovation pipeline and how you kind of tie that with your social, content tracking and things like that. Do you guys work pretty closely with your innovation and product?
How do you tie your innovation with your product team and your marketing?
So we work super duper closely with our Inno team. Actually, up until a couple of years, I oversaw the Inno and the marketing, and so it was like really, really seamless. It continues to be seamless. We get suggestions from consumers every single day, multiple times a day. We want to see this, we want to see this. And I think we're really reactive and fast. In traditional personal care or beauty companies, it's like 18 to 24 months to get anything out the door, sometimes longer. We can do it in less than 6 months. And so sometimes, we have things that we are working on that I can't talk about but are exciting, out into 2026, just because we really want to make sure that our formulas are super innovative. There's quick things like we were hearing everybody's like, I want a banana lip balm. Like, I really want a banana lip balm. Not something you'd actually think like, ooh, I don't know, who wants a banana lip balm? Like, okay, we'll give you a banana lip balm. It's National Banana Day. Here's a lip balm. There's ways that you can make sure that they know that you're listening to them that are easy and quick and fast. And because we like own all of our own manufacturing, we're able to impact that a little bit faster than some of the bigger guys out there. And then we also do we send our consumers products before they launch. Like, what do you think about this fragrance? Like, give us, and they're very honest with you. When you ask somebody if they like the way this smells, like, and we're like, smell this fragrance, but send us a video back on it. It's like, you can't hide a face the first time they open a box. So we do a fair amount of just seeding and surveying with our consumers, like A&U tests, to make sure that the products are really living up to what they want. But we have a running list of everything that they're actually asking for. Although I have yet to get an eggnog lip balm into holiday, even though it's the number one asked for, just because eggnog kind of smells gross.
Hi. Okay, so for the more traditional brands out there who might not have the leeway from their leadership to be as creative and in touch with their consumers as you are, what is your advice for them to even get started? Like, what's their baseline? What should they do?
I think that, well, obviously you use EOS as a case study. No, but I think that you do have to look for examples in the industry that you think are going to be relevant to. So if leadership is your customer, like, what matters to them? They want to see that business is being impacted. They want to see that your brand health is growing. So any sort of case study that you can see to prove that, I think would be really helpful. It would be great if it's in your category, in your industry. And then I think really compelling plans, like, if you can show that this is what's right for the consumer, like how in tune with the consumer do you think your leadership is? And if not that much, then bring them up to speed. Like, create these, parts of your organization and your process that allow for them to constantly a steady drip of relevancy with the consumer, so that it doesn't come across as a big ask when they can see consistently that this is something that is relevant. And if your leadership's not on TikTok, you have to make a TikTok account for them and let them get on TikTok and play around with it. And then they won't be listening to any of your meetings because they'll just be on TikTok, but it's okay.
You literally just preempted my question, so it was perfect. So my question, you're masters of being consumer-centric and listening. And on I would say most places, social listening is a department or a group or a person. And I was going to ask if it's everybody's responsibility, because I imagine, and you just said it with your C-suite. Can you just talk a little bit about how you all stay up to date on your fans?
It 100% is everybody's responsibility. Our CMO, So-Young Kang, if you haven't met her, she's amazing. She's not at Cannes this year, but she's amazing. She probably spends the most time out of anyone, Maris is on my team, out of anybody on social. She is we all follow every relevant hashtag. We follow all of our competitors. We follow aspirational brands. We're in social all day long. We have a really small, the amount of social that we have 9 million plus followers across all our different channels. We have only two dedicated people that work on social in our team, because the entire marketing org is ingrained and working on it. And so we've got so it's not a leadership issue on marketing, because So-Young really takes that lead, but she's gotten the rest of her C-suite up and on TikTok and making sure that they know what's relevant. And ideas sometimes we'll get something from the buyer at Ulta that saw this video that thought oh, this is so funny. Has EO seen this yet? And it'll come in through our sales org. Everybody, I think, just knows social's so important, and we have such a casual and informal and not hierarchical at all organization that it's very natural for people to just throw things our way, and know that if it's happening on social, we want to be a part of it. And with that, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.